Hello, this is Alyssa Kraft, and I am recording my video for assignment 4 about inclusive leadership for my educational psychology class. Forgive me, I have a cold, so I'm a little stuffy and I might cough some, but we will begin. So for part 1, the 2 articles that I summarized, I chose one from the National Urban Fellows community, and the article was titled Our Commitment to Diversity and Inclusion. I like this article because it kind of summarized what inclusive leadership was. And here's the 3 points, I guess, that it said. And it said it includes contributions of all stakeholders, so everyone in a company or a school would be included. All levels of the organization are valued, and I think that that is really important, that even the people who think they're on the bottom still have a say and an opinion, and that each contributor is fully responsible for their result. I think if you don't include people from all levels of an organization, that they kind of get out of the responsibility of the success. So I think that's a neat point as well. The second article I chose to summarize was one by Kevin Blanchard, and it was called Employee Work Passion Factors. I chose this article because I felt like it related a lot to being involved and included, made people passionate and happy at their jobs. It was broken down into several different factors, and I'm going to start with some organizational factors. Collaboration, I think, is the key to this whole article, mainly, but it said that the employee needs to know that they are encouraged in their job, that they can share ideas, and there's teamwork and collaboration. Distributive justice, that resources, compensation, and workloads are fair. They don't want to feel like they're being mistreated, that everyone has kind of the same expectations. Procedural justice was one, and that the policies are consistent and fair. That's kind of like the one before, but that they are being evaluated in similar ways. The last 2 organizational factors were growth. They wanted to know that there's support for their future career growth, that they have the same opportunities as everybody else. Performance expectations. Do the employees feel they understand the expectations? They want to know what is expected of them so that they can be successful. After organizational factors, they also talked about moderating factors. I think these ones I really like as a teacher, but how connected do they feel to their leader or their boss? To what extent do those leaders make the effort to build those relationships so that the employees know that they're important and that they're valued? And then another one is connectedness to their colleagues. Is it encouraged for them to have good rapport and relationships with their coworkers? Excuse me. Part 2 was to apply these articles to my area, which is secondary agricultural education. I teach high school students about agriculture. Building leadership perspective, I went in 2 routes. So how a principal or administrator would weave these ideas into my area, and then I also did how a teacher would. But for the building leader, I think building a staff, and when I say staff, I mean a whole group, but to encourage the entire staff to become a team and work together, and to build bonds between them so that they will be positive and have a good work environment. There's been some times here lately our building has had pretty low morale, and I think it really affects our productiveness as teachers, and so I think if you will build your staff as a unit, that can be beneficial. Interdiscipline collaboration I think is cool and important, and it makes people feel included, so it's directly that inclusive leadership. Our principal does this where we have to each semester work with another teacher to co-teach a lesson and incorporate our different fields together, but I think it's a way to include everyone. And I teach agriculture, so I use a lot of math and science, but I also I teach some vocabulary. I have a daily word where I teach some English and grammar in my classes as well. Another one, staff is valued and important. Making sure as an administrator or building leader that you are making sure that your employees know you appreciate them and feel like they're an important part of the staff. That if you left tomorrow, there would be a hole because you're important. And that they accept new ideas. encourage everyone to feel like they can share ideas. And it doesn't matter who you are. I put on here certified and non-certified staff because I feel both do have good ideas to offer in their areas and that those ideas should be considered. From an educator perspective, which I don't have much desire to become an administrator, so this is my main focus, and in agriculture especially, how I can make my students feel included by my leadership is kind of the route I went. I want them to feel safe, and that can be taken very literally because I teach like shop classes where their safety physically is important, but also that their personality and their emotions are safe as well. So I said to be sure that all activities, environments, and discussions allow all students to feel safe and respected in class. A way to also include all the kids is to differentiate my instruction and plan lessons that vary in the instruction type to allow students to be involved at times. Everyone at different times has a way. So I try to do this. You might not get every student every day, but so that you get them all at different points is important. And then the last one is student voice. To be sure to allow students to have a voice in class. They need to know that they are important to you and that within reason their opinions matter. Obviously, sometimes students want to do crazy things and you have to damper that, but I do want them to know if they have concerns that they can address them with me at the appropriate time. Part 3, some challenges of inclusive leadership. I put buy-in. I see this a lot as a teacher, but sometimes getting everyone to want to have a part can be challenging. And finding a way to get that cooperation would be important. Sometimes students would rather not have the responsibility and would just sit back. And so getting that buy-in I could see as a challenge. Sometimes you're going to have bad ideas from people, and you want to make sure they still feel like you take them seriously and that they're welcome to share their ideas. But dealing with the bad ideas in the end, I think, you have to sort through those ideas. I also put overload. Sometimes I get this way if I have everyone sharing ideas. There's so many to sort through. It's a lot of information, and so you have to be able to filter that and keep it well organized so that everyone's opinions do have a part. Then I put classified. There are sometimes decisions that need to be made in companies, I'm sure, in schools, even in my FFA officer team, that are kind of classified, and not everyone needs to be involved in the decision. And so sometimes you need to value how important that inclusive is, that maybe not everyone needs to be included. Here's my bibliography page for my 2 articles that I used, and I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.